Excuse me! Taxi!
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
And we are back. Well, boy, there were a lot of fireworks today on Capitol Hill, and I couldn't believe some of the rhetoric coming from many of the Democrats, senators and House members. Boy, oh boy. Today, Pam Bondi was on the hot seat. Yesterday, it was Todd Lyons and a whole bunch of others. All of them saying, one of them, I couldn't believe this.
By the way, I just got a text from a good friend.
Okay.
I want to wish a happy birthday to one of my greatest friends, Larry Soff. Larry, happy birthday.
Oh, beautiful. Larry, you look great for 30. He looks great.
No, at least 49.
Oh, okay, at least 49. Happy birthday, Larry. Well, certainly a lot of fireworks on Capitol Hill, and who better to talk about that and also what's going on in the state of Minnesota, which is ground zero on so many things. The great former senator there, Norm Coleman. Norm, it's so great to have you here. Let's first talk about, I don't know if you saw just some of the rhetoric coming from some of the Democrats on Capitol Hill. LaMonica MacGyver, who got arrested. Remember, she was arrested for trying to break into that ICE facility, showing up. She said to Todd Lyons yesterday, "Do you think you're going to go to hell for what you're doing?" I couldn't believe she actually said that. What is going on, Norm?
And by the way, Reed, if I would have been there, my answer would have been, "How do you think you're going to fare for pushing partial birth abortion? How are you going to do on that day of judgment?" Okay, it's theatrics really at its worst, not at its best, but at its worst. This is in terms of ICE, you have men and women out there enforcing the law that Congress passed. They're doing their job under very difficult circumstances. And then you have this, and by the way, I have to say, Rita, unfortunately, Democrats in many ways are winning on some of the ICE issues in terms of enforcement, though the public does not want to abolish ICE. But they have been gaining headway, but they could mess up a two-car parade. I mean, with the absurd questioning, with the theatrics, with just the insanity that you saw, the American public's going to be turned off. And today, the clown car show continued with Pam Bondi out there. Remember, these are members of the Democrat Party who for 4 years, when Joe Biden was president, they didn't ask one single question about Epstein, not one. And it was Trump who charges filed against under Trump. Glenn Maxwell charges under Trump. And so these folks for 4 years sat silent, sat on their hands, and now all of a sudden this is their biggest concern. I think the public sees through it. I think this is theatrics. And by the way, Reed and Katz, it's because the Democrats have nothing else to talk about.
Norm Coleman, one of the things I talked to, a lot of the senior folks at ICE and Customs and Border Protection. I was talking to one of the head of them yesterday, and he was telling me, he said, boy, to your point, what theatrics, because they are so vilified now and going through these horrible death threats and all these things that are happening to them. And he said, under Joe Biden, boy, they couldn't use enough of us. We were nannies. We were babysitters because there were so many people coming through. And now they're villains the hypocrisy is horrible.
And the sad news is that they are provoking and stoking those death threats, those assaults up over 8,000%. Death threats, untold death threats. It's really pretty stunning. And when you have elected leaders such as the governor of Minnesota, the mayor of Minneapolis, talking about them being as Gestapo, committing atrocities, you generate this kind of reaction. So I got to believe in the end, the American public, they do understand that the law needs to be enforced. I think they do support the folks in blue, the men and women in blue. And so, again, if you think about it, the Democrats have nothing to talk about. The economy, they gave President Trump inflation that was the worst ever. The price of a gallon of gas was through the roof because of their Green New scam. And now you had jobs reports through the roof, unemployment going down, price of a gallon of gas maybe half of what it was when the president took over. So the Democrats have nothing to talk about except about Epstein. Okay, in the end, I don't think that's a winning formula.
The Democrats have the best marketing machine in the world. These people do everything and anything to make us, the Republican Party, look bad. Where are the presidents, Clinton, Biden, Obama, when they deported so many people? Why aren't they out there supporting ICE? They used ICE to do the job when they were presidents, when they were leading the nation. Why don't they come out to support the president, President Trump, with his use of ICE and getting these criminals off the streets?
John, because there's a very rational...
It's Fernando.
Fernando Mateo.
I sound like John.
It's okay.
John with a Spanish accent.
Yes, exactly. Fernando Mateo. It was head of the Bodega Union, also a mayoral candidate.
So a very rational answer, because since that time they have come to an understanding that the key to keeping power is simply opening unlimited folks through the border. Okay, this is a very rational process for them. And so in the end, they can't turn off this base that they are trying to create. And so you're right. There was enforcement under Obama. Okay. By the way, the kids in cages, it wasn't under Donald Trump. But in the end, what you have is you have folks who simply set the borders were gone. We had no borders. And President Trump didn't need a new law to change it, as Biden said he needed. He simply changed it. And as a result of that, he's kind of cut off a path to perpetual power that the Democrats had hoped to create, that in the end, hopefully will be turning back under the leadership of Donald Trump.
You know, Mr. Coleman, you hit it right on the head. Notice they're not going after the president on his policies, none of his policies. They're trying to manufacture something. We heard nothing of Epstein under Biden, basically. And now everything is Epstein or everything is ICE. You know, and what really bothers me with these legislators, they know they put ICE, these individual agents' lives in jeopardy when they talk about removing masks and doing it. They know what they're doing. And they want to see people get hurt because that manufactures the story for them to have the media carry. And it's really shameful on their part.
Yeah, their objective is to get off the front page the hundreds of billions of dollars that are missing.
Yeah. And then, by the way, let's say, where is that story now? And we're talking about billions and billions. At one point, we thought it was 9 billion. Maybe now it's 8, probably double that. That story's off the front pages.
It's coming back, though. Right? It will come back.
And I'm glad, because that's the reality. Okay, because you can't hide it. Okay, you can't. It was so extensive, so
too
pervasive.
Much money.
Yeah, it's too much. So in the end, that will come back, and the diversions are not going to hold water, and the theatrics are not going to hold water. But you know, in the end, we have to do our job. And by the way, that's why this radio show is so important. If you don't have the mainstream media on, then you have to have you guys.
Yes.
You have to have, whether it's Newsmax or whatever it is, you need alternatives, because otherwise, if you listen to the mainstream media, you're not hearing about any of this. You're not hearing.
We get the truth out.
Merrick Garland, when was he asked one single question by these folks? When and the multitude of times that he appeared before those committees.
Senator Norm Coleman, thank you so much for telling the truth to the people, and thank you for coming on WABC and We Tell the Truth, and we'll catch up with you again real soon.
You're bringing the Brooklyn back in me.
Hey, we love that. I love that.
I love that emotion. I love that emotion.
Norm, we love you. Thank you, Norm. Thank you.
It's tax season, and at LifeLock, we know you're tired of numbers. But here's a big one you need to hear. Billions. That's the amount of money in refunds the IRS has flagged for possible identity fraud. Now here's another big number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed. One last big number. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast for the threats you can't control. Terms apply.